Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Ignite with Sandy on the Celestial platform. So, do you remember what Ignite with Sandy is? So, those of us who are not aware of what Ignite with Sandy is, and I'm saying us not because I don't want to say you, because we're all a group, we're all together. So, what is Ignite with Sandy? Ignite with Sandy is this program that I do where I interview inspirational women from all walks of society, all age groups, all nationalities. Because you know what? Every single one of the women that I interview has got something interesting to say. There are a lot of things that we can learn from each other. And when we hear these ladies talk about what they're doing, how they're doing it, what are the kind of challenges they've faced, what are the kind of choices that they've made, it ignites those neurons in our mind. And we say, wow, you know what? I could learn from that. I could get some points from that. And that's the whole purpose because Celestia is a work life balance magazine. So we look at the social side, we look at the emotional side, we look at the business side because that's what makes up who we are. So, as you know, I never ever introduce my guest. I always get them to introduce themselves. So now I'm going to bring on this very charming lady that I met at a conference some time ago. And we sat together at lunchtime and then we started talking. And I thought to myself, this is a lady I should have on the show because she's got some really interesting things, especially for the young ones. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. Welcome, my dear, to Ignite with Sandy. And could you please introduce yourself to our guests?
Thank you so much, dear Sandy, and it's absolutely pleasure. My name is Mezhgan Khawar, and I would just, simply, I would like to introduce myself in a very simple way. I'm an Afghan girl, grew up in the United Arab Emirates. I did my mostly education and everything here in UAE and Dubai, and partially education was in India, which was very like challenging for me, but it was very, like a best part of my life, I would say. And it's been like 5 years that I'm working in a legal field, an international law firm in Dubai, and helping businesses, business consultancy, and doing a lot more, like wearing a lot of hat in Dubai, as Dubai is very like full of opportunities and all. So I'm working in Dubai. It's been 5 years, and I'm recently, like joined. Not recently. It's been 1 year. I'm in Dubai Women Business Council, and I'm actually starting my project started like long back in 2016 for women empowerment for my country. So from that time, when I was a very young girl, I would still say I'm a young, but still. So till now, I'm doing a lot for my country women, and that's a passion I do for what I really love to support each other and have a platform and raise a voice when there is something. And I also did youth leadership for the United Nations. And I'm also part of the COP28 for the climate change, which is very important to me and interesting to me, which I was representing at NOC as well for like part of climate change in COP28. So yeah, that's me and just doing a lot of things in Dubai and trying to find my way. It's very hard to just say one title for myself because as I'm wearing a lot of hat and doing a lot of things in Dubai and trying to find, and I'm still in process studying as well my master's.
Okay, my God, you're filling in a lot of the hours in the day. But
Yes.
before we proceed, I think you had a rather, what should I say, stressful experience during this abnormal rainfall that we had in the UAE. So, what happened to you when you were on this business trip to Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, oh my God. It was like a very interesting event happening in Abu Dhabi, which was like I was being part of like, ADNOC and I was invited there. And it was like almost 1 month. I was writing every day that I would just attend on this time, I would do this, and I would, like just making my time and doing scheduling for like almost 1 month. And the day it was 16th of April, few days back, and the day when I started early morning my journey to Abu Dhabi and having in my mind that I will reach on this time and this will happen, and then suddenly in the midway of Abu Dhabi I got caught by the very bad thunderstorm, and I was inside the car. It was very bad. Like, I was very lucky that, nothing happened to me, and I still made it to Abu Dhabi. My mom called me and told me, turn back and come to Dubai. There is no way you can go for this event and you can make it. But I said no. I'm already halfway there, and it's just, so important for me. I cannot just let it go like that, because Abu Dhabi weather was showing a little bit better, so the event was ongoing. It wasn't that event got postponed or something. So I still went to Abu Dhabi. My phone was giving me this alarm and alert whenever I was just going near to this road, and it was just, showing me the alert that do not enter this road. But still, I made it to Abu Dhabi. I went for the 3 days event, and I attended for 2 days, and it was like so good. And returning back also from Abu Dhabi to Dubai was very challenging, but still, I did not give up, and I did it. Yes.
What happened to your car? Did something fall on your car?
Yes, I was actually parked my car like on a side of a road. So I was just expecting nothing will fall on me, checking actually the lights that it will not fall on me. But alhamdulillah, nothing happened to me. But the car in front of me, the signboards and all that fell on the other car. It was very horrible experience, I would say. And this time I got an experience. If next time my phone alert is on and says do not go, I will not go. I will not take it easy this time.
Yes, quite true. Because, sometimes you feel the other thing that it's a big lesson for all of us is that sometimes we can plan everything as you were planning, for one full
Yes.
month. I will do this, I will go that. And then something just happens, and all the best laid plans go to waste. But the other lesson I'm learning from you is that even there were challenges and it was quite dangerous, and your phone was giving you alarms and your mother was calling you, you decided to still go ahead. So I think that's a
True.
very big lesson, right? So what I would like you to share with us is why did you choose to do a degree in law?
So law for me is actually, I decided first, I would say, as everybody, young girls, they usually say, oh, law was my passion. When I was kid, I wanted to be a lawyer or anything. No, that was not in my case. When I was kid, I never was interested in law. And when I was like growing up, I was always interested in like arts and doing something with arts or anything, but not law. But when I just, grew up and, like seeing my people in my country, because, I'm just very close and near to my country and my people. So, kind of like, just looking at them, not knowing their rights and not knowing what legal rights they have. So for me, law is not that I just want to be a lawyer for, fighting and arguing in the court for, this kind of cases and everything. But for me was law was something that I wanted to know and teach people that, you have a right. You legally, you have the right to say this. Legally, you have the right to do this, because sometimes people, they say they're quiet, they don't want to fight for their rights. So law was a big part for me. And after, starting working 4 years back in a law firm, international law firm, working with a lot of senior lawyers, and I was very privileged to work with one of the very famous Arab lawyer, a criminal lawyer. He's a criminal commercial lawyer. So working with him, it was such a good opportunity for me to learn so much and to learn, actually be part of those big cases, see how, people do this kind of like fraudulent like cases and everything. So I say 4 years back, I wasn't the same person that now I am. I know much more about the world, everyone's right, human right, like everything was like changed after, coming to the legal field. And right now, I'm doing my master's in law and DIFC Academy. And for me, it was a big thing to choose, more, to pursue law more and more. It was because for me, everybody thinks that, law is boring, like who wants to work as a lawyer? But I just want to, encourage all the girls and all the boys, whoever thinks that, law is very hard. I have to go for 5 years or 4 years in university, and I will end up, like miserably in the court, and, dealing with people's problem and doing these things, I always want to, for each and every event that I go, I always tell the young girls and all that, that law is not only about that. There's corporate law who's dealing with business, and businesses are establishing, and you're doing so much more, doing developing the businesses. So usually people having a very like narrow perspective about law, that if you're a law, you studied law, you're just going to be a lawyer and you're just going to be a litigator in the court. So I always tell them, no, there is more to this. There is more to know your rights, human right. There's a lot to talk about it, and if you give me the opportunity, I can talk for like hour about how law is different from what people think.
Yes, quite true, my dear. And I find that uh, till now, there seem to be more men pursuing degrees in law, more male lawyers than female lawyers. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely correct. Law is more male-dominated field. Like you will see, like on all the law firms, the girls that they're working, they're like assistant, they're administrative, like department and all that. But when you see the legal litigators that they're sitting in one corner and writing legal memos and all that, they're all men. And even the arbitrators, all of them, they're men, and judges are mostly men. So for me, just being in such a male dominated place and working with all the male, and being accepted was very hard. Like at the beginning, I would see a girl joining our office for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maximum 3 months, and then leaving the office. Why? Because they cannot make it. And for me, just to be among all the Arab men and still working and still being heard by them, so it was very challenging. But I still encourage a lot of girls who are actually coming for internship to our office and for for our legal firm. They will work for like few months and then they get very demotivated and they just join real estate and other field, and they will be like, this is much easier. And that's very heartbreaking to me, and I keep on telling all of those girls, it's going to be hard, but we have to at least show up in the legal field, because if we just leave it for a man, then there will be no female people lawyer in the legal field. So yes, I agree, it's like really much male dominated industry field.
Yes, that is what I thought. But since I'm not in that field, I mean, I do in that field means I'm not personally in that, but I do know much about it because my husband and my son both are lawyers. So I'm like half a lawyer without the degree. Yeah. So yes, what you're saying is absolutely right. And sometimes I feel that women tend to take a back seat. They're not. I'm
Yeah.
not saying to be aggressive. They're not assertive enough to say, "I know I'm right. I know I have the knowledge. I know I have the expertise. I know that I'm intelligent and I can do this." And I think you're one of those people. So, am I right in saying that that is your attitude?
Well, you should actually talk to my senior lawyer, the person I'm working with him for like almost like 4 years. He's like my mentor. I learned a lot. He's an author. He has a lot of famous legal book, and he's actually the only anti-money laundering lawyer in Dubai. So with him, working with him, he calls me a soldier. He always motivates me. He tells me the only girl who can actually survive in any kind of environment is you. And I'm not praising myself for this, but I have this kind of attitude coming from my like a country and my blood. But we are fighters. I am a fighter. I do not let. I know there is a hard time. I know, especially being in a legal field, no matter how smart you are, always people with the more experience are like more welcome. Like if you're young and if you're not having enough experience, people are looking at you very down, like that you're too young and you're not even supposed to talk in this kind of serious meeting. So that actually kind of like bothers me. So whoever asked me like about my experience in like law firm, I'm like, it's a great experience. It's a very serious environment, especially if a person who's serious in their career. It's very much. And if you're not focused in life, surviving even one day in a law firm is not possible. Any law firm, even any law firm, you just one day surviving it, if you're not focused and if you have like things in your mind that you're not focused, you cannot survive, because that's a very serious and very professional work environment, and everybody knows that legal is very serious work. We are not just playing around with anything. It's not, we are not selling products. We are not doing anything. It's just illegal, and it's matter of court hearings. So if you're not focusing on this, you will not even survive one day.
Yes, I am quite sure that what you're saying is very true. And yes, you do require the attitude, not of being aggressive, I think, but being more assertive. If you know you're
Yes.
right and you know that this is the way it's done, then you stick to your point and are convincing enough to get other people to see your viewpoint. But there's another side of you that is quite different from law, and that's your social media presence. So, why did you do that, and how does that make you feel?
Okay, so social media, I actually wasn't in social media for a very long time, like when I wasn't doing my studies and all that. So it's just like 2 years, I actually made my Instagram public and my LinkedIn, like little more focus on these areas. And the reason why, because I've been to many events and I went to like many places, and everybody just, the way I dress up, little, having a little fashion, sense and all that. Everybody, whenever I walk, they will be like, "Oh, so you're an influencer." So, and some people, they just, oh, again, one of those influencers and all that. It's not that it's anything bad, but it's just like when people are on social media, people, just promoting fashion brands, they're just promoting things which is not related to education and everything. And I'm not saying this is like anything, that's also great. But I felt that there is a need for people to actually be there to promote and, like influence the young girls to for education. That yes, I post holding a diploma, a new degree, or a certificate, or an award. Why? It's all in corporate world. I just want to encourage other girls that no matter how, seriously you're working, you can still show up on social media and promote, like for education. It's not just matter of like a holding a branded bag or wearing a branded clothes. It's just holding a degree or holding an award and showing on social media. And especially Instagram, that nowadays Instagram is becoming just a platform for marketing and advertising products and everything. Nobody actually markets services and all that. So for me, my social media, especially like my Instagram account and my LinkedIn, is super, super important. I have really, really young girls following me, and my female followers are more than my male followers. And everybody cheering me up, and everybody's asking me how to make up, how to become a lawyer. They're just asking me which kind of legal education we have to do, how to reach, because in Dubai, being like lawyers are only local people, so the legal consultant offices and all that. So they all approach to me, especially young girls and young people are approaching me, and they're actually asking me, how did you make it to this event, or how did you make it to this platform? So for me, my social media is like the dose of happiness, I would say, every day. I love it, and I love interacting with those people, just to influence them in a very different way, that they can actually choose a different path as well.
Yeah, I think that's has a very noble way of making your presence felt on social media and being an influencer in a very positive way, which has more to do with academics, more to do with personal and professional development. Because you very rightly said most of the platforms are more about just fashion or just brands or just about themselves talking about absolutely nothing. So, so it's a refreshing change to see, because I did obviously do my research and look up your social media. So I said, this is something that I wanted you to share with our viewers, because it's you have a purpose, and I think
Yes,
that's also very important, because if you have a purpose, if you have an objective, and you're using your presence to get that message across, I think we can really use social media in a very positive manner. So,
that's
my
true.
next question for you is regarding your country. So, uh, when we hear about your country, it's generally and any pictures that we see, it's not always a very positive image. But I am quite sure that it is a country. If you, I'm a student of history, and At that time, when your country was flourishing, there were so many important, fabulous cultural things. There was a lot of richness in the architecture and so many other things. So, can you give us a bit of an idea about what the true Afghanistan is?
Well, that's actually a very like a question that actually I want to answer, but it will take me forever to just say good things about the country, about the people, about how much I care and how much I am involved in my country. So I would say it's a very rich country with rich heritage, with rich mindset of people. Like I'm so happy and privileged to know that the people that here in UAE, they know the value of like us because they see us more compared to like other countries and European countries that they hear all bad things. But in Dubai and UAE, I would say mostly there's a lot of successful businesses here, developers, very famous, and they're doing amazing. And I'm so glad that a lot of Afghani girls are in the business, they're showing up, and people are actually seeing how different we are from others. So for me, I was just before going deep to the my country story, I would just say one very short experience of me that I met a lawyer who's actually like confused from my nationality, because like they were just thinking your face is like confusing, you look Arab, you look this. So when I told them about my nationality, they said like, how many languages you speak? So I just count, I speak because, like I speak like many languages. So I said, this is how many languages I speak. And he just turned to me and he was like, one thing that is so unique about like your country people, that they speak so many languages. And that's actually true. Like you just talk to any girl or any man, Afghani people, they're actually speaking like more than 5 languages, and they're so and fluent in this one. So I always say that people should know the value of our people and the value of, I really feel my people deserves to be known as a national citizen in the world, not just a victim of the unfair war. And I would not just talk politically or anything, but the people should know more about us. And the only way that we can actually let people know about us is by showing on social media, on any kind of platform, or in businesses in a very positive way. And people will actually know us for who we are. So Afghanistan is full of rich heritage, rich culture, our family values. Oh my God, like really, when I talk to people, everybody is just, like talking about our family values. In Afghanistan culture, the family comes generally, like the families are interests are before your needs, before your own. So you actually, whoever is there, they have such a strong family values. Like me, myself, no matter how modern and how we travel abroad or anywhere, we are actually so connected to our family and to values, to respect, to be not disobeying our parents for even if we are like 40 years old. Like still the respect for our parents, respect for our elders. So I can just take forever to talk about this topic.
Absolutely, and I agree with you because in this day and age, for young people, especially your age group and younger than you, to have strong family values, to show love, to show respect, to take care of our family members, our older members, to respect them for their knowledge and experience is something that is fast disappearing. So it's nice to hear that there are communities like yours, countries like yours, where all these things are important. So just talking about that, because I come from India, and of course our family values, as you know, are quite similar. So would you be open to an arranged marriage, or do you think that having lived here, so you're highly educated, you're exposed to a lot of businesses, meet a lot of people. So, would you be happy with an arranged marriage, or would you rather go the path of saying, no, I'll find my own life partner?
Very interesting question. Um, so for me, like either since I was like in school, I was very young. I always like have this in my mind, because my family will choose for me, and they will choose the best. So I have a lot of cousins, siblings, my sisters and all that. They all got married in arranged marriage, and they're living like I would say they're blessed, and they're with the right people. So I always had this in my mind that the family will choose the best for you, because they know you better, and they have a good judgment, and they have more experience in people more than you. So for me, I was always like my parents will tell me that focus in your studies. The marriage is part of life. It's not the whole life. So usually people actually focus so much in, especially like in not like so educated families, they are actually focusing on marriage so much that they make the girls especially feel like the marriage is the whole life. If you find a good husband and if you have kids, you're settled. But like, I was privileged enough that my family and my parents and my siblings, big like brothers and sisters, they never said this to me, and they always said marriage is part of life. So when you're settled, when you're done in life, and when you're educated, and when you think you're ready, that comes marriage comes. So it's part of life. So for me, I would definitely choose, well, let my family choose for me, because they have more experience, and I'm sure they will choose the best for me.
Yeah, having said that, yes, of course, they would keep your best interest in mind, and choose somebody who is on this in the same social kind of category, and have similar backgrounds, so that there's not too much of having to adjust. But at the end of the day, it also matters if two people are compatible, so everything else could match, but do you feel that eventually the choice should be yours? Not choice, sorry, decision should be yours based on how compatible and comfortable you are with the person that your family has recommended for you.
Well, yeah, definitely. Definitely, the decision will be mine for sure. Like, I will be the one deciding, because, as you said, it's not about like having like a perfect man beside you and still you don't actually match. Sometimes you don't even have like feelings for some person. So for me, decision will be definitely is mine, and in future also the decision will be mine. But the choice of recommendation, I would definitely prefer it from my family rather than just going and choosing somebody for by myself. And I don't think like in this world of like having a busy life and working and studying and all that, I actually have like good enough time to go and search for myself. Either it will be through my work and all that, and that never works. And for me, I'm not judging others, like if they want to choose and if they want to go with their colleagues or with their like people they met in the work and all that. But for me, that's like a no, and I never saw anybody works like that. So for me, if my family will choose anybody for me, I'm willing, but the decision will be mine for sure.
Okay, that's fair enough, I think, because you're leaving all the extra work to them, and then they're presenting you on a platter with saying,
It's an
"Wow,
easy option.
yeah, that's a very clever thing, actually." So whenever you do get married and have a family of your own, what is going to happen to the professional side of you? Are you going to say, okay, I'm going to take a break and be the mommy at home? Or are you going to have this work life balance and have the buy in from your partner and family members saying, you know what, I'm a qualified person, I'm uh, an experienced person, and I'm not going to give this up because I can manage being a mommy and a wife and a professional.
So I actually really believe that like most of the female that they actually got married and they left their career and they become a housewife. Mostly it's their own choice, because they are tired of working and they don't want to continue, and they want to just settle and live like peaceful life, like relaxed life. But for me personally, if you're asking me this personally, I would definitely work, because for me, I'm still, that's why I never give myself one title, because I feel like I'm still in process. I did not reach where I want to reach, and I'm halfway. So right now, I cannot even say like what exactly I'm working for, because I'm working for a lot of things, because everything is in process. Like for me, even if getting married like in 5 years or 1 year or 2 years, leaving my career, I feel like so, like not fair for my own, hardship, and the nights that I spent studying and doing so much. I feel unfair if I actually try to go to my comfort zone. So I would never do that. I would always continue to work. And I have a lot of great projects for future. I'm still hoping I will definitely do it. And hopefully you will see me working, Sandy.
Quite true. And it's a very good attitude to have, because I think women have the ability and the aptitude to actually multitask in a very effective manner, because we can be the mom, we can be the wife, and we can still be the career person, the person who runs a business, the person who's studying more perhaps. So we can do a lot of things, and it's nice to see that you have that attitude towards life. So tell me now, I know you mentioned that you have a lot of projects that you're wanting to work on and all. So in the next 3 to 5 years, what do you see yourself doing, and in which direction are you going to be moving?
5 years.
Is that
Interesting.
too long?
Well, yeah. I was actually talking only to like everyone, like my mother and all that, about like 2024, like my plans. Like I actually make very like my usually my plans are like for like maximum 1 year. I don't like really far fetched that much, because what happened to my Abu Dhabi trip, when I'm planning so much and totally the opposite of things happen. So we don't know much about life and everything. So for me, but yes, I do have a vision. I have like a vision board. I'm actually very much in belief of manifesting and writing and making plans and writing and having a vision board. Actually, since like I was very young, I really much believe in vision board, and I'm keep on suggesting to my nieces, to my nephews, to keep on writing your ideas, document everything. So for me, my plans for like, I would just talk about the 2 years that like it will be like quick. So I will not talk about the 5 years. I will just talk about my 2 years plan. I'm actually doing my master's in DIFC Academy, and particular law. I would say DIFC law, because I just I'm more into English. So DIFC court will actually give foreign nationalities, like allowance to actually be part of the court, which was one thing for me. And I'm also studying crypto law, because currently in Dubai there is no crypto and these kind of digital financing lawyers here. So it's very hard for whenever we have a case for crypto. So we actually don't have what law they're following. So DIFC provides this master's degree for to study crypto, and I'm also doing arbitration. And hopefully by end of this year, I will finish my master's in law. Also my master's in law, DIFC law, I would say. So be more specific in this one. So I would finish it. So that this will be arbitration as well, because I want to take up a part in arbitration, because I was before part of the arbitration Asian Arbitration Center, which is actually a Malaysian center in in Kuala Lumpur. So I was part of that, and they actually said that there's a lot of like male dominated, and they don't have any female. So for me, being like going more deep into these field will be one of my goal that I'm actually achieving, hopefully end of 2024. And also establishing my own firm, which is already in my plan, and I'm working on it, and I'm very close to establish my own firm, legal firm, with like having a lot of like DIFC laws and services as well. So I would say 2 years it will be this.
Okay, that you're packing up a lot of stuff in those 2 years, so it's going to keep you very, very busy. But I'm sure you'll
Yes.
manage it. So, talking about your dream of having your own law firm, would it be safe to say that you will be encouraging female lawyers to join your firm?
Yes. the basically the aim will be to, actually, this is will be not a normal legal office or legal consultancy office for me here. For me, I would dedicate a part of this to educate women, like having like kind of workshop online for like my people in my country, or for the girls to know more about their rights, to raise their voice, and to be, because every single person, they have rights of living, and everything, for the education, for like family, anything, you have a right, and you should know much about it. So definitely I would make this part of, like my legal firm, to do workshop and to teach women about their right, and not to, as you said, not to be aggressive, not to fight, not to be shouting around that, we are fighting for our rights. I always say, lower your voice and you make your point even much stronger. So for me, this law firm that I'm actually trying to, manage and open it by myself, and I will be working so hard to for women. That's one part, and encouraging young girls, intern students to come, and I would make sure that they will not change their field, because I meet a lot of girls like in business events and everywhere they say, "Oh, I'm working as a real estate, or I'm working in this company." But when I say legal, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, we have a law degree." And I'm like, "Okay, you have a law degree, but why don't you work in legal?" They say, "Oh my God, you don't know what happened to me. Lawyers are very aggressive. It's very hard to deal with them." So for me, it will be like, I want them to come. I really want them to feel safe and motivated enough to take their future. And I'm hoping this, that there will be female judges, because right now there's a very lack of much of female judges, and everybody is saying that females are emotional and they cannot be judges because they are taking the decision based on their emotion. So I hope that will change soon. Miss Sandy, I have a lot of things, plans, hopefully.
Well, I'm very happy, that you touched on the right points. I totally agree with you that women are very capable, they're very intelligent, they have aptitude for so many things, but it is always their attitude that ruins everything. They are not self-confident. They get intimidated, and they may be far more intelligent, and they could be also far more educated and actually have the correct answers and the correct solutions, but they don't have the self-confidence. Is that
True.
correct? Right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yes, true.
Yes. So you and I are on the same page on that. Anyway, my dear, we're coming to the end of our interview, and you shared so many wonderful points. So, in closing, if you can just give women 5 pointers about why knowledge of the law, practice of the law, knowing more about it, knowing more about your personal rights when it comes to divorce, when it comes to properties, when it comes to family, etc. What is it that women around the world should be looking at?
So I would just start that, whatever field they're studying, or whatever field they're interested, they can just go and, start and work in that field. But always make sure to know your rights, because we as women, we victimize ourselves. We always, keep quiet, and we get, as you said, we get intimidated by people, by surrounding us. And when we have a point, we never raise our voice, because we say that, we always have this, in our back of the head, what other people will think. What if I'm wrong? What if, I said this, and that will become a big thing. For me, we have, as an individual, we all have the right of, like our independent right to talk about ourselves, about our feeling, about our point that we have. And I would always suggest all the young girls and all the females around the world, we are already empowered. We don't need to be empowered by others. And we don't have to shout to be heard. We just have to make our point in a very smart way and a very calm way that actually people will listen to us, because when you're shouting nobody listens to us, and actually people think us very aggressive, and we are, having aggressive approach. And even in my firm, like I'm hiring a lot of girls in my office and doing the interviews with them, I always tell them, whenever there is a fight or anything, make sure you be the calmest person, because when you're calm, people will actually listen to you. And it's your right to talk. I'm not saying this. But for me, I would always suggest all the girls to know their rights, all, about the businesses they're doing, about the things, and always raise their voice, because, it's our right. It's our right to say what's right and what's wrong and how we feel. Putting our feelings down, it makes us, it will actually make us, why to bring ourselves, down. So when we are feeling in a certain way, we have to talk about it. And nothing is wrong in that. Nothing is wrong in that.
I think you made a very important point, and it's a simple thing, but still very difficult for a lot of women to do. And I think sometimes the simplest things are the hardest
Yes,
things, right?
true.
Yeah, quite true. Well, thank you very much, my dear, for being so open and so uh, sharing about your personal life, your family, your culture, and more important, about being so enthusiastic about being a lawyer and taking your dream forward of becoming an independent woman in having her own law firm. And then the agenda of that law firm obviously would be to make money, but also it is to
Yes,
encourage other young women to come forward and become lawyers, become professionals. As you said, there's still so many places that you can actually go and make a big difference. As you said, very few judges, very few in arbitration. Yes, this is one field which is still dominated by men. And it's
yes.
refreshing to see a young person like you who is doing so much to make a change. So, thank you very much for joining us.
You're most welcome. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sweetheart. Thank you, darling. So, there you have it, a very young, ambitious woman who is taking steps to make sure that she does the best for herself. A person who respects her culture, a person who has strong family values. All these things are important. It's not necessary to give up any of these things in order to be a successful professional woman. And that's what she is. So, what did I like about what she said? I, one thing was about marriage, and she said marriage is part of life, not your whole life. I think that was an amazing quote from her, because a lot of us are led to believe that once we are married, that's our whole life, and it's not. It's an interesting part of life, yes, and it's a wonderful part of one's life. But that doesn't mean that we should give up on our dreams, on our ambitions, and what we would like to do. And the other thing that she mentions is she is a work in progress. So, there's no limit. It can continue. As you grow, as you develop, you can find more important things to do, which is something that we should all be looking at. And she talked about having a vision board, about writing down what you want. And this is something really quite important, because you know what happens when you hear somebody talking, or you are watching something or whatever. These are wonderful ideas come in your mind, and you say, oh, I'm going to do that, or I would love to do something like that. And then we get distracted by something quite mundane, actually, and that goes away. So having a vision board, writing it down, and actually devoting some time to what is important for you is an amazing idea, to write down everything. So sometimes writing is not quite easy. So what I do, and I'm sure she must be doing, I record messages to myself on WhatsApp. So I'm communicating with myself on WhatsApp. But it's a great way, when you're driving or something happen, this fabulous thought comes in your mind and you just record it. And of course, you must remember to play back to remember what exactly you said. And so being financially independent, knowing your rights, having a career, educating yourself. This is the right of every woman. And very important what she said, you don't have to shout about it. You can be assertive, and that gets you far more than being emotional and shouting and all. Because you know what that proves? It takes away your self respect. It makes everybody think, oh, she is this emotional, hormonal female. Let her shout. She doesn't know anything else. So, if you want to be powerful, be knowledgeable. If you want yourself to be heard, speak softly but firmly. That's what she said. And so, on that happy note, I hope you will take in all these wonderful pointers that we brought to you today. And don't forget what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to share this fabulous video. We'll be sharing the link, of course, on the Celestia YouTube channel. So we'd like you to share it within your network so we can get the message across. And we'd like your likes, and we would like you to subscribe as well. So till we meet the next time, take care and God bless for now. Bye.